What if everything you thought you knew about success and power was wrong? What if the secret to outsmarting anyone around you wasn't about working harder or being louder, but about understanding the silent rules that govern every interaction you have? Every day you're being tested by friends, colleagues, even strangers. The world is a battlefield, and it's not the strongest or the most obvious that wins, but those who play the game with the most skill. The rules of power are hidden, subtle, and they can either elevate you to unimaginable heights or drag you down. So, how do you outsmart the world around you and become the person who calls the shots? The answer lies in mastering the art of subtlety, in understanding that power doesn't always show itself in grand gestures or loud actions. It's in the quiet moves, the unseen strategies, and the emotional intelligence that few ever realize is the true force behind success. Think about it. How many times have you been outpaced by someone who doesn't seem to have more talent, resources, or opportunities than you? It's not always about being the best. It's about playing smarter, being more strategic, and mastering the rules that others never even notice. Now, you might be thinking, I don't have the connections, I don't have the resources, but that's where most people get it wrong. Power isn't about who you know or what you have. It's about how you use what you already possess. Each and every one of us has the potential to influence the world around us. What separates the successful from the ordinary is understanding the game, using the right strategies, and knowing when to act. You see, the world rewards those who play by its rules, and it punishes those who don't. But here's the good news. Learning how to outsmart the people around you isn't as difficult as you might think. It doesn't require you to change who you are or pretend to be someone you're not. All it takes is a shift in how you think, a shift in your mindset that allows you to see the world differently, more strategically. Imagine stepping into every room with the confidence that you understand the game better than anyone else. Imagine having the power to control any situation, to influence the people around you without them even knowing it. That's not just power, it's mastery. If you're ready to step into that kind of mastery, then this is your moment. This isn't just another video to pass the time. This is your chance to transform your thinking, your approach, and your life. So, I ask you again, are you ready to learn how to outsmart anyone and take control of your destiny? If so, stay with me, because what you're about to discover will change everything. The first step to outsmarting anyone is understanding one simple truth. Emotions are the greatest obstacle standing between you and your power. Think about it. How many times have you made a decision out of anger, fear, or frustration, only to regret it later? How many opportunities have you missed because your emotions clouded your judgment? Emotions are powerful, no doubt, but they are also unpredictable and often misleading. If you want to be someone who outsmarts the competition, who rises above the chaos, you must learn to control them. The key is emotional mastery. When you are in control of your emotions, you are in control of your actions, and when you control your actions, you control your destiny. Emotions are designed to react quickly, to push us into making decisions based on impulse. But that's where the trap lies. When you react, you are letting the world dictate your responses. When you take a moment to pause, to assess, to breathe, you shift the power back into your hands. By remaining calm, you create space for clarity. In that clarity, the world around you begins to slow down, and you can make decisions that are calculated, strategic, and powerful. Think of the times when you've been in a heated situation, whether at work, in relationships, or even just in day-to-day life. What do most people do? They react, they lash out, they lose their composure. But how many times have you seen someone maintain their calm, remain composed, and respond with intention? That person doesn't just appear to be in control. They are in control. And that control, that calm confidence, is what gives them the power to outsmart everyone else. They know that in a world that thrives on chaos, maintaining your composure is a rare and valuable skill. The truth is, emotional control isn't just a tactic. It's a mindset. It's the ability to detach from the immediate, to see the bigger picture, and to make choices that align with your long-term goals. While everyone else is caught up in the storm of their emotions, you remain anchored. You refuse to let external forces dictate how you feel or how you act. And because of that, you make decisions that others can't see coming. You become unpredictable, but in a way that works to your advantage. People may try to provoke you, challenge you, or test your limits, But because you have mastered your emotions, you rise above it all. Emotional mastery doesn't mean you suppress your feelings. It means you control them. You allow yourself to feel, but you don't let those feelings take the wheel. You understand that your emotions are just signals, not directives. They're information, but not truth. And when you learn to filter that information through the lens of strategy, your decisions become more precise, your actions more impactful. You stop being a puppet of your emotions and start becoming the master of your own life. This is the foundation of true power. Being able to remain calm in the face of chaos, to think clearly when everyone else is clouded by their own feelings. When you begin to master your emotions, you unlock the ability to think strategically, to make decisions that are based on logic, and outsmart anyone who dares to challenge you. This is how you start to take control of your destiny. The true power lies in patience. It's easy to want everything right now, to chase after quick results, but the reality is that the most powerful moves are made over time. Power isn't given, it's earned, and the way to earn it is through the discipline of playing the long game. We live in a world that demands instant gratification, where everyone is looking for shortcuts. But the winners are those who understand that real success isn't about the fast track. It's about building momentum, step by step, even when it feels like progress is slow. When you're focused on the long game, you stop measuring success by the hour or day. You begin to think in terms of years, decades, even lifetimes. You understand that every small decision, every minor step. The moment you start thinking long-term, you begin to see opportunities that others miss. You stop rushing and start playing smarter. There is power in knowing that you don't need instant results to prove your worth. The people who rush, the ones who want quick wins, they're the ones who burn out, who fail when the pressure mounts. They don't understand the most critical aspect of success: time. Every great achievement, every breakthrough is the result of consistent action. When you focus on the long game, you invest in the process, not just the outcome. You take every challenge, every setback, and you use it to fuel your future. The short-term distractions that derail most people are no longer an issue for you. You're building a foundation that others can't see yet. You're stacking your wins brick by brick, even when it feels like no one is watching. And the beauty of it is, while everyone else is scrambling, you're quietly positioning yourself for greater things. Patience is more than just waiting. It's about trust. It's about trusting the process and knowing that if you keep going, the results will come. It's about playing the game with conviction, with certainty that your time will come. Too many people quit when they don't see results fast enough. They abandon the path before it has a chance to take root. But when you understand the long game, you stop quitting. You stop doubting. You realize that every step you take is an investment in something greater than you can see today. Every action compounds, every effort multiplies, and before long, you're standing on top of something no one else could build in such a short time. When you play the long game, you take the power out of the hands of those who live in the moment. While they're chasing quick fixes, you're laying the groundwork for something lasting. You don't need to prove yourself to anyone, because you know where you're headed, you know your path. And with that knowledge, you gain strength. The real power comes from staying the course, from keeping your eyes on the bigger picture, and from trusting that every step is worth it, even when the world tells you to rush. You begin to outsmart the people around you, not by being faster, but by being wiser. You play the game on your terms, not theirs. And that's the difference that makes all the power. When you understand the power dynamics around you, you start to see the world through a completely different lens. It's not just about what people say or do, it's about what they don't say and what they don't do. Power is often hidden in the spaces between words, in the moments of silence, in the ways people move or hesitate. It's all about perception, and the more you understand how people operate, the more you can position yourself to influence and guide situations without them even realizing it. People aren't always aware of the forces at play, but you can be. You can step into a room and feel the energy shift, understand who holds the authority, and determine exactly where to place yourself to get what you want. It's not enough to just observe. You must learn to read the room. You have to tune into the subtle cues that others miss. Watch how people react, how they carry themselves, how they interact with others. The person who holds power isn't always the one talking the loudest or making the most noise. Often, it's the person who is quietly observing, waiting, and listening. They know that information is power, and they know that by simply watching, they can learn everything they need to know. The best players in the game of power are the ones who listen more than they speak, who assess more than they act. They make their move only when the moment is right, and they do so with purpose and precision. Every interaction is an opportunity to gain an advantage, and when you understand the dynamics at play, you can navigate these interactions with ease. You learn to recognize when to push forward and when to step back. You learn to discern the motives of others and use that knowledge to your benefit. Power isn't about brute force, it's about influence and subtlety. It's about understanding that every person you meet is playing a role, and by understanding those roles, you can maneuver yourself in a way that makes you indispensable. People are constantly testing each other, assessing weaknesses, and trying to outmaneuver one another. But when you know the rules, when you understand the game, you can move ahead without them even realizing it. There's an incredible power in understanding the psychology of others, and once you start to tap into that, the world opens up to you. Every conversation becomes a chance to learn something new. Every relationship becomes a tool to leverage. You begin to control the flow of information and manipulate the environment around you. You no longer let circumstances dictate your path. Now, you make the circumstances work for you. You begin to dictate your own terms, to control the narrative, to shape your own destiny. Understanding power dynamics isn't just a way to get ahead. It's a way to protect yourself from those who would use you as a pawn in their game. This is how you begin to see the bigger picture. This is how you outsmart those around you. Not by force, not by confrontation, but by understanding the underlying currents that move people. When you master this, you no longer need to fight for power. You attract it naturally because you know exactly how to play the game. Silence is a weapon. It's one of the most powerful tools you have, yet it's one that most people overlook. In a world where everyone is trying to be heard, the quiet ones are often the most dangerous. Silence creates space. It gives you the time to observe, to reflect, and to strategize. Though, when you learn to embrace silence, you learn to control the narrative around you. You stop reacting to the noise and start shaping your own responses. The more you speak, the more you reveal, and the more people can use that against you. But when you hold back, when you control your words, you create mystery, you create intrigue, and people will begin to wonder what you know that they don't. Think about the times when someone remains silent in a conversation, letting others fill the gaps with their own assumptions. That person didn't need to say much. They let others reveal their intentions, their thoughts, their weaknesses. In those quiet moments, they gathered the information they needed to outsmart everyone around them. Silence gives you the power to choose your words carefully, to respond only when it serves your purpose. The less you say, the more people will pay attention to what you do say. When you speak, make it count. Let your words carry weight, and let them land exactly where you want them to. Silence also gives you control over your emotions. It forces you to pause before reacting, to stop and think before you act. In those moments of stillness, you gather strength. You stop letting others dictate your response. Instead, you become the one in charge of the situation. While the world around you is constantly pushing for a reaction, you stand firm in your silence, observing, understanding, and making decisions that others can't even fathom. The ability to stay quiet in moments of chaos is a sign of ultimate control. When everyone is screaming, you are the one who remains calm, cool, and collected. And that calmness, it's what gives you the edge. Silence is also a tool of influence. People will come to you for answers, for guidance, for advice, because they know you're someone who doesn't just speak, someone who listens. When you listen, you gather power. You learn more about the people around you, their desires, their fears, and their goals. You learn how to position yourself in a way that makes them want to align with you, follow you, and ultimately trust you. In a world full of talkers, the listeners are the ones who shape the future. They understand that the most important thing is not what's being said, but what's being left unsaid. When you understand the power of silence, you unlock a deeper layer of influence. You become more than just another voice in the crowd. You become someone who commands respect. Not through force, but through presence. Your silence speaks louder than words ever could. It signals that you are in control, that you are different, and that you know exactly what you're doing. And when you learn to wield this power, you become unstoppable. There is a fundamental truth about power: it thrives in secrecy. To truly outsmart others, you must master the art of keeping your cards close. The world rewards those who can maintain an air of mystery. When you show all of your cards at once, you give away too much. People can predict your next move, and once they do, you lose the advantage. But when you conceal your true intentions, when you keep your strategies hidden beneath the surface, you control the narrative. People will be constantly guessing, constantly wondering what you're planning. And that uncertainty, that unpredictability, gives you the upper hand. The most powerful people don't need to announce their every move. They don't need to tell everyone what they're doing or what they're about. They understand that the element of surprise is one of the most powerful tools in their arsenal. When you keep your plans to yourself, you hold all the power. You create a situation where others are forced to react to you, not the other way around. Instead of being pushed by the whims of the world, you become the one who is pulling the strings, subtly guiding everything to your advantage. Being strategic in your approach means knowing when to reveal yourself and when to stay hidden. Sometimes the most powerful move you can make is the one you don't make at all. By withholding your full potential, you force others to act in a way that works in your favor. You take control of the situation without anyone realizing that you're doing it. It's a quiet yet powerful form of influence, and the more you practice it, the more natural it becomes. You learn to play the long game, understanding that each moment of silence, each instance of holding back, contributes to your ultimate victory. You don't need to flaunt your talents or your knowledge. You don't need to prove anything to anyone. The world will eventually see the fruits of your labor, but only when the time is right. Your power doesn't lie in what you say, it lies in what you don't say. In the moments you choose to stay silent, you are crafting a narrative that only you can control. You're building a reputation, not by boasting, but by acting. Your actions speak for you, and they speak volumes. The beauty of holding back is that it allows you to surprise everyone around you. While others are busy making noise, you're carefully positioning yourself for success. And when the time comes to act, when you finally reveal your full potential, the impact is greater than anything they could have predicted. They will be left in awe, wondering how you achieved such greatness while they were still focused on the noise. When you learn to keep your cards close, to reveal only what is necessary, you gain a level of influence that cannot be taken away. You become the master of your own fate, unencumbered by the expectations of others, and free to shape your destiny as you see fit. That is the true power. The most powerful people in the world aren't the ones who are constantly busy, always hustling, and chasing after every opportunity. True power comes when you stop reacting to the world around you and start shaping it according to your own terms. The key is to focus on your strengths. The things you're naturally good at are where your greatest power lies. Stop trying to be everything to everyone. When you spread yourself too thin, you dilute your influence. Instead, zero in on what you do best. Master that skill, refine that talent, and make it your weapon. When you focus on your strengths, you stop competing in spaces where you don't belong. You stop wasting your energy on areas where others may have the upper hand. Instead, you lean into what makes you unique. The moment you stop trying to fit into the mold others have created for you and start creating your own path, you step into your true power. This doesn't just make you more capable, it makes you more valuable. People will begin to seek you out for what you can do best. And when they do, your influence grows exponentially. Success doesn't come from chasing every new trend or jumping into every opportunity. It comes from mastering the things you already excel at and using them to your advantage. When you recognize your strengths, you become a force that others can't ignore. You stop trying to be like everyone else, and you start becoming the person that others want to be like. It's not about following the crowd. It's about standing out because you're deeply skilled at something that matters. And when you're the best at what you do, the world takes notice. You're not here to blend in. You're here to take ownership of your unique abilities and shape the world around you. You have the power to create opportunities, to carve out your own space, and to influence those who need what you have to offer. When you become the best version of yourself, you stop chasing validation. You stop seeking approval. Instead, you attract everything you need: respect, influence, and success, because you've built your identity around your unique strengths. Remember, power doesn't come from trying to be someone you're not. It comes from fully embracing who you are, from honing your talents, and from becoming so good at what you do that people can't help but come to you. The more you focus on your strengths, the more powerful you become. People will begin to rely on you, seek your expertise, and want to align with your vision. And in that space, your influence expands beyond measure. So, stop wasting time trying to be everything to everyone. Lean into what you're good at. When you do, you'll find that not only does success come naturally, but power follows effortlessly. You become the person who shapes the world rather than reacting to it. And that is where true influence lies. The truth is, you are the creator of your own narrative. The world is full of people trying to define who you are, trying to place you in boxes that serve their interests. But the moment you take control of your own story, you unlock a power that no one can take from you. Your story is yours alone to tell. How you show up, what you represent, and how you carry yourself in this world all play into the narrative you create for yourself. The power to shape how others perceive you, to control the story they tell about you, is the key to influencing their actions and reactions. And once you understand this, you step into a level of control that changes everything. You no longer let circumstances or people's perceptions dictate your path. Instead, you become the one who defines the terms. You get to decide what you stand for, what your reputation will be, and how others will view your role in the world. You stop letting others write your story for you. Every move you make, every interaction you have becomes part of the narrative you create. Whether it's the way you communicate, the decisions you make, or the image you project, it all adds up. The more intentional you are in crafting your own narrative, the more you shape the reality that others experience when they encounter you. Your ability to influence others is rooted in your ability to control your own story. When you master the art of shaping perception, you become magnetic. People are drawn to you because they feel the strength of your narrative, the clarity of your purpose, and the certainty of your direction. They want to be a part of your story, they want to align with your vision, because you make them believe that your success is inevitable. And when people believe in your narrative, they begin to act in ways that support it. They give you their trust, their respect, and even their loyalty. You become the center of influence, the one others look to for guidance, inspiration, and leadership. You might think that control over your own narrative requires power that you don't yet possess. But the truth is, every single one of us has the ability to rewrite our own story. It doesn't matter where you start, what your past looks like, or how others have tried to define you. You have the pen. You have the choice to choose the story you tell yourself every day. And that choice is powerful beyond measure. The way you see yourself, the beliefs you hold about who you are, will define how you move through the world. When you decide to take control of your narrative, you begin to see opportunities where others see limitations. You begin to walk with purpose, with confidence, and with the unwavering belief that your story is one of success, strength, and influence. Your narrative is the foundation of your power. When you understand this, you stop waiting for the world to recognize you and start creating the space for yourself to rise. You define who you are, you define your success, and you shape your destiny. This is the ultimate power. The power to write your own story and to make the world see it your way. The moment you stop engaging in drama is the moment you free yourself to focus on what truly matters. Drama distracts, it depletes, and it steals energy from the things that deserve your attention. Too many people get caught up in the noise, in the petty conflicts, and the endless cycle of frustration that surrounds them. They waste precious time reacting to things that don't contribute to their growth, their success, or their happiness. But you understand that drama has no place in your life. You refuse to let the chaos of others dictate your mood, your focus, or your direction. When you stop engaging in drama, you free your mind to think clearly. You give yourself the space to reflect, to plan, and to take decisive action. Your energy becomes a valuable resource, one that is used only for the things that will propel you forward. The people who engage in drama are constantly running in circles, caught up in situations that offer no real value. They exhaust themselves on trivial matters, all while you sit back calm and steady, focusing on what truly matters. You are no longer a participant in the noise. You are the observer, and that gives you the power to act strategically. The ability to avoid drama is a sign of emotional intelligence. It shows that you have a deep understanding of what is truly important. People who engage in drama are often driven by insecurity, fear, and a need for validation. They thrive on chaos because it feeds their egos. It distracts them from the reality of their situation. But you are beyond that. You see the world clearly and you understand that your time is too precious to be wasted on things that don't move you forward. You refuse to be pulled into the emotional traps that others set. Instead, you choose peace. You choose clarity. You choose to channel your energy into building something greater than the petty distractions of life. The power to avoid drama is not about ignoring the world around you. It's about choosing your battles wisely. You don't need to fight every fight, argue every point, or respond to every criticism. You recognize that some things are simply not worth your energy. And by doing so, you protect your peace, you protect your focus, and you protect your vision. You become selective about where you place your attention, and in doing so, you rise above the noise. You are the calm in the storm, the person who others look to for stability, strength, and guidance. The more you practice this, the more you'll realize that the people who thrive in drama are often the ones who lack true power. They crave the chaos because they don't know how to create peace within themselves. They look for external validation to fill an internal void. But you have mastered the art of inner peace. You no longer need the approval of others, the constant validation, or the empty drama. You have learned that real power comes from within. When you stop engaging with drama, you take back control of your life. You become a force that cannot be shaken by the distractions of the world. And that is where true power lies. There is a profound power in unpredictability. It's not the obvious moves that people notice, but the unexpected ones, the ones that make others second-guess their assumptions. The moment you become predictable, you lose control. People can anticipate your every move, your every reaction, and that's where the game ends. But when you learn to be unpredictable, you create an aura of power around yourself. No one can figure you out. They're constantly on edge, unsure of what you'll do next, and that keeps them guessing, keeps them off balance, and ultimately keeps you in control. Being unpredictable doesn't mean being erratic or chaotic. It means thinking strategically, acting when it's least expected, and doing things that force others to reevaluate everything they thought they knew about you. It means breaking patterns, disrupting the flow, and making others feel uncertain. When people can't figure out your next move, they're forced to give you more respect. They'll start to see you as someone who can't be manipulated, someone who can't be controlled. And that is where true power comes from, being the person no one can predict, no one can understand fully. You become a force that can't be contained. The moment you stop doing what others expect, you stop playing by their rules. You begin to set your own course, creating an environment where others are forced to adapt to you, not the other way around. They'll be caught off guard by your actions, wondering what's next. And in that uncertainty, you'll find your strength. The less predictable you are, the more respect you command. People will start to think twice before they challenge you, before they try to undermine you, because they won't know how you'll respond. And that uncertainty gives you the power to lead, to guide, and to control. When you embrace unpredictability, you become the master of your own fate. You stop reacting to others. Stop letting them dictate your next move. Instead, you begin to act on your own terms. You create a presence that is impossible to ignore, a presence that demands attention, because it is never quite what others expect. And that is what keeps you ahead. While everyone else is stuck in their predictable patterns, you are always 3 steps ahead, maneuvering your way toward your ultimate goals. This unpredictability allows you to rise above the ordinary. It's the key that unlocks your potential, the tool that gives you the power to dominate any situation. By mastering the art of unpredictability, you free yourself from the constraints of the predictable world around you. You start to break free from the chains of convention and embrace a life where you call the shots, where your actions create ripples that others must respond to. This is the essence of power, not being easily understood, not being easily categorized, and not allowing anyone to predict your next move. When you embrace the unknown, you gain control over the very fabric of your reality. You stop following the patterns and you start creating your own. That's when the true transformation begins. The true mark of power is the ability to take full responsibility for your actions, your choices, and your outcomes. When you own every decision, every success, and every failure, you place yourself in a position where nothing can derail you. Responsibility is freedom. It's the realization that no matter what happens, you are the one who determines your fate. People who shy away from responsibility, who blame others for their failures or misfortune, will never taste true power. Power comes from accepting that you are the creator of your reality, that every step you take is the result of your choices. Once you accept this truth, you unlock the ability to change everything. You stop reacting to the world around you and begin to shape it to your will. Responsibility gives you the power to act. It gives you the ability to change your course at any time because you know that you are the one who can influence the outcome. When you take full ownership, you free yourself from excuses, from hesitation, and from fear. No more waiting for things to happen. No more blaming others for your position in life. You take charge, and with that charge comes power. This is where true leadership begins, not in telling others what to do, but in leading by example. You take full responsibility for yourself, you become the person others look to. You become the one others respect, not because you demand it, but because your actions speak louder than words. Your ability to take responsibility shows the world that you are someone who can be trusted, someone who can be relied upon, and someone who is never deterred by the challenges life throws at them. People are drawn to that strength. They gravitate toward those who refuse to make excuses, who embrace every situation, whether good or bad, and make it work in their favor. The beauty of taking responsibility is that it doesn't just elevate you, it empowers those around you. You own your choices when you stand firm in your decisions. Others are inspired to do the same. They see that you don't make excuses, that you don't hide from challenges. They see you rise every time you fall, and that resilience becomes a model for them to follow. Your strength becomes their strength, and in that exchange, you build a network of people who are empowered by your example. Taking responsibility is not just about acknowledging the things that went well, it's about embracing the mistakes, the failures, and the setbacks as well. Every failure is a lesson, every setback a chance to grow. When you take responsibility for everything that happens in your life, you stop seeing challenges as obstacles and start seeing them as stepping stones. You take control over your own growth, your own destiny, and no one can take that from you. When you own every part of your journey, you become unstoppable. You become the person who shapes their future, who rises above any challenge, and who commands the respect of everyone around them. That is the power of responsibility. The greatest form of power is not in what you do when things are easy, but in how you respond when everything seems to be falling apart. True power comes from your ability to withstand adversity, to rise stronger from your struggles, and to remain focused on your vision, even when the world around you is in chaos. It's not the smooth paths that define your strength. It's the rough terrain, the challenges, the moments where everything feels impossible. It is in these moments that you find your true power, the power to push forward when others would give up. Every obstacle you face, every challenge that comes your way, is an opportunity to grow stronger. The people who truly master the art of power are not the ones who avoid failure, but those who embrace it, learn from it, and use it to fuel their journey forward. You cannot be afraid of failure. You cannot let fear of falling hold you back. It is only by failing that you truly learn what works and what doesn't. Every time you get knocked down, you have a choice: to stay down or to get up, stronger, smarter, more prepared for the next challenge. Your resilience, your ability to stand back up, is what gives you power. There is no growth without discomfort, no real transformation without the willingness to face hardship head-on. People who remain in their comfort zones never experience the true magnitude of their own strength. They avoid the very challenges that could push them beyond their limits. But you understand that the struggle is where your true potential lies. The harder the battle, the greater the victory. And it's not just about overcoming external obstacles, it's about overcoming your own doubts, your own limitations. Every time you choose to push through the resistance, you become more powerful. You become someone who can withstand any storm, no matter how fierce it may be. You rise above adversity. You not only strengthen yourself, but you also send a message to the world. You become a symbol of perseverance, of unshakable strength. People will begin to look to you, not for the easy answers, but for the example of how to push through the hardest of times. They'll see your ability to stay focused, to keep moving forward, and they'll be inspired by your resilience. You will become the person they admire, the one they turn to when they need guidance on how to overcome their own struggles. Your strength will not only change your life, it will change the lives of those around you. True power comes from the ability to endure, to keep going when the world tells you to stop. It comes from the courage to face your fears, to tackle your weaknesses head on, and to use every setback as fuel for your next move. It's in these moments when everything is falling apart that you discover who you really are. And what you'll find is a person capable of achieving things others would never dare to attempt. You become unstoppable because you've learned that there is no challenge too great, no obstacle too tough that you cannot overcome. And that is where true power resides.